First destination, Fort William. Second destination, Inverness. Third destination, John O'Groats. 317 miles, so that's quite a long way.
Previously on the Great Glen Way.
Where else do you have shipwrecks and lighthouses? This is Freya.
Use our legs, our feet.
A new way to use our legs and die. It's a bizarre monument. Freya's gone. She's wanting to go off and do her own thing.
See you around.
Now on my own, kid. On the trail finally. Aha, high route is closed. So yes, another diversion. Although this one I'm not too bad about. I hope this isn't just constant road noise, because this A82 is like a bloody motorway. Yeah, I wasn't planning to do this one, because this one, you can see there's some steep sections. It may be marked, it may be wonderful, but it wasn't following any form of paths, so very wary of that. I'll take the low route and you'll take the low route, and both get to Invermoriston about the same time probably. But it might be Drake, it might be Dua. Perfect for me. Absolutely perfect. What I've actually struggled over the last couple of days has been the blazing sunshine. Everyone else has been f***ing loving it. I have just been like, oh, I can't stand this. This is my walking weather. Cool, not chucking it down, not hailing, not blowing a gale, not sunny, not boiling me. Go a nice, consistent pace. So hopefully we'll get some miles into it. First time I've seen a no camping sign in a long time. That's unusual. Lots of noisy owls last night. Twin Peaks. Kind of like owl wars. These owls chasing each other last night or early this morning. Weird, because I've never heard owl kind of battling each other and making a hell of a noise. So yeah, we were sleeping in the middle of an owl turf walk. It is very beautiful. As I say, after a while it gets a mixture of kind of magical and sane. These forestry roads. Scenery! Scenery! There's a group of day hikers that are doing it in sections. And sort of not long sections. I'm taking a sweet time about it. I keep bumping into them. But also, yeah, I just had a weird one with two Americans. I think they're Americans. And I was doing a video, not near them, but sort of behind them, probably they can hear. And then everyone was like, hello! You know, as in, we can hear you. I do not care. This is Loch Ness. Any sign of Nessie? I think Freya understood. I explained neurodiversity and you did have to mask a bit around her. A little bit, you know. I'm not really interested in masking for them when I'm out here on my own. I'm not here to have to deal with that kind of ableist crap where people are like, oh, he's weird, he's talking to himself, oh, what's he doing? Much rather be with the bear. Which, you know, I understand. Trust no one, really. Don't trust anyone. But, you know, so back to my usual slightly grumpy self. It was nice, it was fun. Last couple of days to be more in holiday mode. Now it's back to work. And back to reality, which is on my own, people treat me very differently. I'm sure it's the nice falls down there. Into the Nessie Lake. I'm not so fond of the piping. There's signs saying there's mains underneath. This path is like the one on Loch Lomond. It's not really a path at all. Really a pipeline. I'm walking on a mains water pipeline. Well, we've got to build access. They'll turn it into a path. That happens a lot. Showing off their forestry roads, hydropower, and pipelines. Yeah, it's these things, the pink ribbons and also the red ones. I'm not sure what they mean. It was nice not being a grumpy old man for that. Yeah, forest road, take me home to the place I belong, down in London city, take me home, forest road, your own castle. I don't know what that way is. There's nothing up that way, apart from a tree. Looks like they've closed the higher routes. Closed for safety work. Out Nakrish. Nearly at Invermoriston. Oh wow. Why didn't we go over that bridge? This is obviously a lovely A282. I wonder what that is. I don't know. And this is Invermoriston. Oh. Those are some falls. That's the bridge it's been on. And this is the old Invermoriston Bridge, built by our old friend Thomas Telford. And St. Columba as well. St. Columba gets a lot of places around here. The Highlands. Nessie whiskey ice cream. I haven't seen, I've been looking for candy, you know, Nessie stuff. I've not seen anything, but this is the first Nessie thing. So, Loch Ness ice cream, whiskey Nessie. Nessie whiskey. Should have little Nessies in it, but... And weirdly, someone left me a tip on the table. But yeah, get my feet up. Chilling with my Nessie ice cream. Getting my feet up. Picnic bench, drying the socks. I've got some chocolate milk and I have some lunch as well. And then we'll head off towards Drumnadrochit, which apparently is about 13 miles. So obviously I'm not going to do all of that today, but it'd be nice to do a big chunk of it. I would like to get it below 20 miles to Inverness today, even better. You know, if I can do 15 today, but over 10 would be good. I feel like it's been a bit slacking over the last day or so. I get the impression the next section is quite wild, the Drumnadrochit section. There isn't much between the two. Also, Invermoriston has a drinking tap. Thumbs up from me. Just climbing up from Invermoriston. The woman in the shop said that the high route was easier because you have to go up for both, but the low route you have to go back down again. So I'll probably try the high route. I was half thinking of it. So you know, I did ask her, is there camping? And say, oh, well, people manage. And I was like, is there camping at them? Don't know. We shall find out. No sign of Freya. I assume she zoomed through this hours ago. I was half expecting to see her lounging around for Marston. If we do bump into each other, she wants to do the solo thing, so won't camp anywhere near. This is a steep climb on a hot part of the day. Views, scenery. I've had worse inclines. I've had more slippery ascents, but in this heat on a tarmac stone road, with this pack size, and now there's some breeze. There wasn't when I was coming up. Just trying to cool down a bit. I'm glad I got some water in the village because there was no streams coming up. Somewhere around here, I got a nasty feeling it might have been back there, but they're supposed to break off for the high line, the high road, somewhere around here. Yeah, it was back there. I really need that in this heat. And it wasn't signed. Unless this is it. So it is going to the shade, which is a major bonus. High route. High route. Anti-sly Ard. This section rises to 470 metres and is 30 miles to Drumnadrochit. That's choice A. Choice B, this section low route. Anti-sly Luzal. This section rises and falls 3 times, finally climbed to 350 metres. Yeah, it still climbs up. Approximately is 14 miles long, so it's longer. Yeah, I think I'll probably go for the shady one. Let's go for shady. Shady uppy and slightly shorter. I'm not sure why at the summit of this heat exhausting hill there is a Fire Brigades Union flag. That's strange. Always ways, isn't it? Perfect campsite, fire pit, accessible water, lovely place. It's 3 PM now and I want to get many more miles in. That's some scenery we haven't seen for a while. On one, following this fence, which is what we're doing. But it's a defined path. I think there are links between the high route and the low route, like there. But I'm quite happy to stay on the high route. It doesn't devolve into forestry roads again. I hope there are some more springs. It's a hot day. Yeah, this is already way better. This does feel like proper trail walking, like you'd see in proper videos. That proper hikers do. It's a shame then they closed the earlier one, because that sounds like it would have been a lot more fun. Scenery. Proper hills. And proper pine trees to crash your camera into. You don't do drones. We keep it real here. No drones. Means listen and look to the wonderful quiet. Wouldn't that be spoiled by it? It doesn't matter how remote you think you are. There's always someone nearby. People going, oh, I only do drone shots in the most remote places. Bollocks to you. It was a very weird thing to do on the West Highland Way though, because that is such a busy trail. The people are always going to be there. Yeah, no drones here. Oh, I saw this. That sculpture, if you can see it. Is this the summit of our 450 or something? The Viewcatcher. Made from Caledonia pine and local stone, the eye in the sky is designed to highlight a stunning view. Now we've caught the view. I'll head on. Ooh, ouch, my bag. Maybe have a rest actually. Scenery. This is a bit of a moonscape with no streams. There's apparently some coming up. And I'm feeling safe because we're still following that fence. That fence is on the map. We just follow the fence and then we follow a track and then we rejoin. But the lack of water here, there's little tiny bits, little tiny pools like that. I love my PT whiskies. I've been trying loads of them on this trip. I mean, I quite like the sort of a more smoother whiskey as well, but PT sort of single malts, I have especially the Highland malts. I have a special love for those. When I travelled up there in the islands and near Jura and got some Tobermory, there's a Smoky Scott space of Kale Isle, which I never tracked down in anywhere. No one ever seems to have it in bars or shops. It's really odd. Maybe they only export it or something. I don't know. Kale Isle is difficult to get. But Smoky Scott is really nice. Edredor's good. Wasn't so taken by the Drake, which is made by Tobermory. And I had some Balmore, last night, and the Balmor was really nice, so that is recommended. It was Scrabble. The irony is that when it comes to cooking and drinking here, the PT water you're getting from the streams, even after filtering, does not go with hot chocolate. With risotto, oh, it's lovely with risotto. Mushroom risotto works really well with PT water. I was also saying how few midges there are up here because they don't like the altitude, they don't like the wind. It's up on the mountains. Perfect. You may get your tent blown away. You will not get any midges up there. Oh wow. Scenery. Another one of these. I haven't seen these for ages, but what are they? Animal pens? Shelters? The biggest lie was that woman saying, oh, it stays at one level. No, it doesn't. It seems to constantly go up. Then it meets a little river valley and it goes down again. Then up and down. It's not at one level. It's not like the boring lock side is. This is constantly going up. The moral of the story, don't listen to women in shops. This is like halfway to 2/3 in. Does this look at one level to you? Bloody hell. It's nicer, but it's not easier. Amazing views though, but really, up there, I hope that's the summit. You do feel like you're on top of the world, then again you've walked up it. Scenery. Exhausting scenery. High and dry. Well, almost. That's why I'm not staying up here. Too many things like this have dried up rivers. There's no streams up here. But yeah, views. Lovely views. Whispering grass, don't tell it to the trees, 'cause the trees don't need to know. Can't afford that copyright either. People always ask me, aren't you scared alone in the woods with animals or ghosts or whatever? And I always answer, the only thing that scares me is humans. On the trail, you know nothing about the people you meet. You don't know who they really are. A case in point, walking down this hill, Freya jumped out at me, scaring me. Her behaviour had been concerning me over the last couple of days, and the red flags had been mounting up, and it was about to get a lot weirder. Look at that view. That's the view of Loch Ness. Oh, it's glory. And they've actually put a nice little bench here. I met Freya on the first day of the Great Glen Way, and she was trying to use Coleman fuel with a Trangia stove and nearly blowing herself up, and so she latched onto me. At first her impulsive behaviour seemed fun. It was nice to have someone to hike with. As I got to know Freya, her background story kept changing. First she had a boyfriend, then when I came out to her she had a girlfriend. It was strange because I didn't really care either way. And then in Fort Augustus, that night we went out, there was a couple of French guys and she seemed to be chatting one up. She told him the story of her South African father, even though she said she was Danish, and it was the same story as Elon Musk. And I challenged her on this, then she left the next day.
I have a camera, luckily.
I can't believe this, they got a stone, I don't know if they designed it like that, that's perfect, a stone sledge to do your selfies on.
I don't think that's the intent.
Well, I don't know why else they would have like a little ledge there for your coffee. It's a bit far for your coffee. This was starting to really freak me out. Who was this person? Who were they really? So I was kind of relieved when she decided to go off and do her own thing, but I also felt sad. It was a mixture. But whatever, I wasn't expecting to see her again in less than 12 hours. And that's why I'm rather off in later bits of this video as well. I didn't want to talk about it. I'm the kind of person who just runs away for when things get really weird. And also, she wanted to take shortcuts. Who takes shortcuts on a trail?
Oh, well, I'll be on my way.
Okay.
Are you camping here?
I'm not camping here, no. There's no water up here. That's why I was thinking of going to Altnessai. Altnessai, which is about a mile that way. I was going to go there.
Yeah, there should be water up ahead, but I'm not sure of this road of which
I still thought she was camping solo, so I told her where I was going to camp, and she said she was going to go on for a couple more miles. At this point, I believed her. Yeah, the stream up ahead, but after that I can't see any rivers. That's why I'm a bit wary of setting off tonight. So Freya goes off. Camera Tim in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. My feet are killing me. I would like to do more. It's I think it's past 6. It's a beautiful evening, and if I've done 10 miles, that's good enough. I wanted to do 12 to 15, but with all of that uppy, downy bits today, even though, as you saw, hopefully from the footage if it's come out, it was a lot of fun, and it was more what I was expecting from the Great Glen Way. It's a shame that the other one was closed because, yeah, the whole forestry road thing was getting to me. That's the highlight of, not the trip. I would say there's other bits that have been the highlights of the whole trip, but certainly of the Great Glen Way, today has been the highlight. That and the barge, finding that sort of restaurant barge when we were really hungry. So yeah, I'd love to camp up here. It would be lovely with a bench, but no water. The water's well that way. Well, that way. Yeah. And you saw how weirdly Arizona meets Scotland it was. I mean, it was so hot and so dry, but then it's kind of got pines. I suppose the pines can kind of stand in for cactuses, I suppose. But yeah, it looks quite cactusy, but yeah. We're under 20 miles from Inverness now, directly. I mean, obviously the path meanders a bit, so it'd probably be a little bit more. That's achievable in a couple of days, which is good because I have 3 days food. Because the coach is going in 5 days, so we've got basically 4 days to get there. That's plenty of time, and I don't mind hanging around Inverness for a day or two. Whether I go on, I think at this point it's very unlikely that I go on to do the John O'Groats. It was always kind of an extension goal, and I'm really proud of myself of getting this far even. You know, because the first part, the West Highland Way, was the challenge. To do something that was like a proper trail, someone described it as a technical trail. I would say it's more than a beginner trail. It's like a beginner to intermediate. I would do this trail, the Great Glen, if you are a complete beginner. Do not go to West Highland Way thinking as a beginner you can do it unless you have some hiking experience. I would not suggest that at all. You could probably do it, but it would be hard. And it would be difficult. People say, oh, this is a beginner's thing. It's not. You know, I've done a fair few hikes now, a fair few long distance hikes, and I found it tricky in places. Not horrendously so, but And the John O'Groats, that is, I think, from what I can gather, from what people said and what I know of the maps, the top half is for people who are pretty hardcore. It's not Cape Wrath level. It's not African Trail level, and I think we're going to join the African Trail at some point. The John O'Groats is not that marked. I'm not a fan of the bogs and the burns, so I'm thinking maybe leaving it for another time and do it in one thing afresh, and maybe doing it more in summer where it's a bit less boggy, more in the middle of summer. And there's the end of the high route. I've done 5.5 miles to Invermoriston. Drummond the Droghett is 7 miles. I do hope that's not the campsite. Let's check the map and see where this campsite is. It must be somewhere around here. Nice view, difficult position right by this road. Hopefully no one comes around early in the morning. And also, that is an anthill. I'm hoping they don't swarm the tent. They are the big ones as well. Mm-hmm. When I turned up to my campsite, I was surprised to find, bold as brass, Freya was camping there, very unapologetic, and it was also very strange. What wasn't great is it was on a curve of a road, and you could see large trucks had gone by, and she said, oh, it's fine, it's a bank holiday Monday. More about that in the next video. The rest of the night, she then blanked me as if I wasn't there. She was acting as if I was someone she'd never met, which we'd spent the last couple of days talking and chatting just fine, and then to be next to someone who's acting as a stranger was freaky. Now that's a waterfall. I'm not getting water from there. I'm trying to get water from up here. Hopefully. It looks possible. Without dying. We can hope. So, under the pretense of not liking the site, even though she argued with me, I picked my tent up whole and moved it 400 metres down the road after getting my water. This is where I slept last night. I didn't even show the tent, it was, I just pulled it down. It's one of these very atmospheric, yeah, my favourite forestry roads. I just want to go. It's about 7:30, I haven't had breakfast yet, I'm just going. I got to that point where I just thought, screw this, I just want to get out of here. Which is not great, but that's how I feel. Just not be here. Just away from here. I just don't like these things. I'm not a fan of these endless roads. So future Tim, well, from the next day, will explain what happened, though not entirely. Throughout this trip, the first night, picked up a friend who then wanted to go off and do their own thing, which is fine. It was awkward. We accidentally ended up at the same campsite because there wasn't any campsites in the area. There wasn't any water on the campsite, and that was a bit strange. I moved down the road because it was just a bit weird. They got the silent treatment. Obviously, they wanted to be on their own. So it's like, you know, well, they said it was fine for me to camp there, and it wasn't. They were like, oh, don't be silly. It was like, well, I was like trying to move away, but I wasn't happy with where it was, and so I moved down the road and then went off early, and I haven't seen them, so I don't know. I'll probably bump into them in Inverness or before Inverness, probably tomorrow. But it's actually nice to have an evening on my own. That's the end of the fourth part of the Great Glen Way and the 11th part of the Scotland trip in whole. We travelled a distance of 11.9 miles, a Great Glen Way 48 miles, and Scotland total of 142.6 miles. Yeah, this has been a difficult one to edit ever since I shot it. I don't know if it was just my neurodivergence or what the hell was going on. It was a strange thing to go through. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please click like and subscribe. On screen now is the next day in the series when it's available, otherwise it'll be the previous day. I hope you're well. Look after yourselves, and I'll speak to you soon.